Hello. Today is a story that basically I have no words for. It's a very personal situation. It's a personal issue of mine. My name is Jorge McCoy, and I'm going to tell you the story of how I overdosed when I was 14 on fentanyl. Now, this story starts 6 months before July 5th of 2023. Now, that would mean, I want to say, February, March, I think March. Now, at this point, I have done a lot of drugs. Now, I'm not proud of this. I'm not saying, oh, you should go do this because it's cool. No, drugs are bad. We all know this. So let's move forward with what I'm talking about.
Crack is whack.
At this point, I have done cocaine, I have done ecstasy, I have done methamphetamine, I have done heroin, but none of the things I have really done have really had an addiction on me. I could always put them in their place, take them or leave them. But this is where it all changed. I'm going to go buy weed from my regular old marijuana plug, and to my surprise, he says, "Oh, I don't have any. I don't have any weed. I don't know what to tell you. I can't sell you anything." And I'm just like, "Well, do you have anything else?" Because I'm super desperate to get high. And he tells me, "Oh, I have these blue pills. They're really good. You should try and take them." And I was like, "How much are they?" And he was selling them for about $25 a pill. And I had at least enough money to buy an eighth. So I got 2 pills. 2 pills. And what they were called is blues. And I know you guys have heard of this, but never, ever try blues. Stay away from any drug that is called blues. Now, if you don't know, blues is the street name for fentanyl pills, aka laced pills that look like oxycodone, which, trust me guys, 99% of the time, if you see an oxycodone, it is probably fentanyl. So please stay away and just don't do it. Don't even touch it. Don't even pay it any attention. Just leave it alone. So at this point now I have these 2 pills and I'm on my way home, and I stop at a McDonald's that's right across from my old house, which is where my plug was. I go into this McDonald's, I go into the bathroom, I break the pill in half. Now, at the time, I didn't realize what it was, but now that I have more knowledge of it, I know for sure that it is definitely fentanyl that was in it, because when I broke the pill in half, it was white. Now, you can tell me, Jorge, oh, maybe it was just something else in the pill. No, because 99% of the time, it is fentanyl. And I need you to say this with me. Never take pills from a black market distributor, because 99% of the time, what is in there? Fentanyl, that surprise Fenty, and you do not want Fent. Now let's get back to the story. I break this pill in half, and I didn't really think much of it. It was white inside. I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe this is how it is. Take half the pill, I crush it up onto the little, where the metal, where the toilet paper dispenser is. I crush it up with my phone and a dollar bill. I put it into a line, and I snort. Now, I didn't know what I was expecting to feel, because I had never tried opiates, never really tried oxy, but I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel a single thing. So, at this point, I snorted the other half of that pill, and I didn't feel anything, and so I kind of just thought, oh, I got scammed. So I leave the last pill, I put it somewhere where only I can find it, and I start scrounging up money to buy weed. from someone else. And I do. I ended up buying weed from someone else. Now, this isn't the end of the story, though, because a few weeks later, I remember I have the pill and I don't have any weed, I don't have any nicotine, I don't have anything. So now I'm just fiending for something, I'm fiending to get high. I'm desperate. I don't want this to go to waste. I don't want to waste this pill. So what I do is I go and I text my plug, the plug that sold me these blues, and I ask him, "Yo, how am I supposed to take these? Am I supposed to just take them orally, or do I snort them, or what do I do?" And so he tells me that you're supposed to smoke them on foil. Now, this is unheard of. Like, I've never heard of this. I've never heard of smoking a pill. Like, never. And especially smoking anything on tinfoil. The only time I did that was when making a tinfoil bowl. Like, I'm so serious. At this point, like, I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. And so, what do? I go ahead and pull out a sheet of foil, break it into a little rectangle, and I put the pill on there. I light it under the fire, grab my straw, and I smoke. Now, this first hit is something that I remember to this very day. I inhaled the smoke, and instantly, all I felt was this warm sensation going around my brain, going around my body. It was like being hugged by God itself. Now, I know that's terrible to say. I know it's bad to even say that it's comparable to being hugged by God, but honestly, it felt like I was being hugged. Like, the feeling I got from it was, it felt like I was being hugged by my mom, my brothers, my sister, and just everyone in my family. I felt loved, I felt safe, I felt cared for. And then the high was gone. It only lasted like 2 hours. I woke up in my bed and, well, that's when I realized that this shit is not to be messed with. I'm now feeling the come down to this drug, and I just feel very depressed. But at the same time, my body is telling me I need to go and get more. Now, first time experience is like nothing else. Something that I couldn't even explain to the doctors after I overdosed. This feeling that I had was like something inside my heart needed to be filled, or this hole in me, or this something in me needed to be filled. And my brain, it recognized this feeling as love, or recognized this feeling as something to do when you want to feel really, really good. And I didn't expect this. I didn't expect it to be that good. Now, it's been about a week since my first experience with fentanyl, and all I can think about is how good I felt, how good the high was, how good I felt in those moments. And then it happened. I started doing anything I could, anything, to get my hands on the fentanyl pills, the blues. I tried any scam. I tried anything to do, anything. And then when I couldn't find it, I started selling my stuff. I sold my Xbox. I sold a TV. I sold personal items that weren't even mine. I sold multiple things. Now, I have sold over about $2,000 worth of stuff right now. And now it's not even just the blues that I'm using. I'm now using blues. I'm now using Molly just to wake myself up when I need it to be. Now, if you don't know, you can smoke Molly on tinfoil. So I was doing this both and smoking this on tinfoil, putting a blue on one end and Molly powder on the other. And to be for real, this went on for 6 months. Me stealing items out of people's houses, me stealing my mom's personal effects, stealing my mom's landlord's personal effects, drinking, smoking, doing any drug under the sun just to reach this fulfillment. And it wasn't until one fateful day in July. Now, this happened July 5th, but we're going to go back to July 4th. It's July 4th, special holiday, and me and my family get invited to a cookout at my sister's cousin's, their house. And so I go. I see my cousin, who I consider my brother. Now, I brought some pills and I brought some weed. Now, he's a big weed smoker, so first we smoke some weed. We go ride on our bikes and we go smoke some weed. And then I ask him, do you want to do some of these pills? And he was like, I don't know, man, I've never done it before. And to this day, I regret doing this, but I actually gave him some pills. I don't get pills, but I got him high off the pills, and I am not proud of this. I feel very guilty about this, especially after what happened to me and what could have happened to him if I didn't refuse to give him any pills. But yes, we got high off the fentanyl pills, and we're having fun. It was a good 4th of July. It wasn't until the end of the night. We're lighting fireworks, and I light a firework and I run, but the firework falls down, and as I'm running, it explodes and it hits my leg, and it actually hits where my foot is, at the top of my foot. Now, I didn't realize, or actually nobody realized, that I actually burnt the top of my foot and left a burn scar on it. It wasn't until my OD that they checked my body and they found the scar. And keep in mind that I'm like blasted out of my mind. I don't feel pain. I don't feel a single thing. I myself didn't even realize that I was just burnt. Now it's the end of the night and I'm blasted. My cousin's blasted, and so we go into his room. We snort one pill. We split it in half. He snorts half. I snort the other half. Now I'm about to leave his house, and he asks me. He's like, "Yo, Jorge, can I have one of the pills? I wanna snort some." And I say no. I refuse to give him any of the pills. Now, it might have been out of selfishness, like I wanted to take what I have and get high off of it, and I didn't want him to get high anymore, or it could have been straight out of this, like, the kindness of my heart, because I knew how dangerous these pills were. So I didn't give him any. I didn't give him a single pill, and I left. Now it's the next day. I wake up and I'm in pain. My stomach is cramping. I have to go vomit, and now I'm just like, okay, I need to get really high for the rest of the day. And I do. That last day, July 5th, 2023, I got really, really high. I smoked, I want to say, about 6 pills in the next 4 or 5 hours, maybe even a little bit longer. Now, it's about the end of the night, and I'm still high as shit, still high as balls, and I go, and, at this point, everyone in my family is home now, and I go, and I wake up, and I'm like, okay, I need to smoke another pill to go back to sleep. Now, this is the last pill, and honestly, this is the last thing I remember. And to be honest, I don't remember much because of how high I was. But I can say that I didn't expect what would happen to come next. But I go and I put the pill on the foil, and, I put my lighter under it, I grab my straw, and I go and I start inhaling smoke. But it all went wrong because as I'm inhaling the smoke, I put my face too close to the foil, and I end up putting the whole pill ends up going up the straw into my mouth, and that's the last thing I remember. According to my mom and my sister's timeline of events, my sister kept trying to check on me, and my mom told her to stop, but she kept trying to check on me, and she ended up finding me having a seizure, bubbles coming out of my mouth, and at this point I'm seizing, and my mom has to call 911. And according to my mom, I was trying to make myself throw up as I don't know how to describe it, as like a reaction, a way of exiting the drug out of my system. But I ended up trying to throw up the pill, but it wasn't enough. So they had to call 911. The police, they came. The medical people came. The ambulance. They Narcaned me, but I didn't wake up, and so I had to be brought to the hospital, where I had to go under ICU care, and it was 3 days. I was in a coma. I was in a coma for 3 days. My mom was about 72 hours away from having to decide if she wanted to pull the plug or not. And my mom, she I don't know, she wasn't ready, but she did tell me, like, if she did pray to God, and she said that if this was my time to go, if this is what needed to happen to make sure that I was happy and I didn't have to suffer anymore, and that meant that God can take me if that's what needed to happen for me to be at peace. I ended up waking up about 12 hours before my mom had to make that decision. And I woke up blind. I woke up not being able to walk. I woke up not being able to feel the same. After 6 months of using fentanyl and MDMA and meth, after 6 months of using every day and suffering the withdrawal every morning, it destroyed my brain. It destroyed my receptors. I was no longer able to feel the same way I was once able to feel. And that was probably the worst punishment of all.